In today's video, our panel of educators who have been remote learning for up to 3 months share one thing they would like to bring forward into the 2020 academic year as their schools begin to reopen around the Asia region. Hello, coaches. Welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Friday from Eduro Learning. My name is Kim, and I have been a coach in international schools for almost 20 years, and I have been really fortunate to be living here in the Asia region during the entire COVID-19 pandemic. And we've been sharing tons of resources to help you handle remote learning, deal with what it's like to come back to school, and support parents and students and your colleagues throughout this crisis on our remote learning page. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, I will leave the link here somewhere and in the description below so you can go see what we're sharing for remote learning to support you as you are helping all of the community members that you're working with. Today's episode is a very quick rundown from our panel of teachers in our last remote learning bonus episode where we talked about what a return to school could look like. In this episode, they're going to share one thing they would like to see remain from this remote learning experience when we go back to school for the 2020 academic year. It's likely that the 2020 academic year will continue to be impacted by COVID-19, perhaps with opening and closing schools over the course of the year, depending on how outbreaks develop. So we'd like to see some of the elements of this kind of blended learning environment take root in our schools so that we can really easily transition between face-to-face and online learning so that school can continue regardless of whether we're actually in the same room together or not. Hopefully you will find all of these tips from this amazing panel of educators really helpful and you can bring them back to your school. All right, let's get started.
One thing that I want to take into next year is this understanding of well-being that everybody has about each other. And if people are giving each other pause and they're giving each other space and they're reaching out behind the scenes to make sure everyone's okay. So I'd hope to see that carry forward.
One thing I take forward is just to remember to be fresh and nimble and not to always think about how I did things and be safe, but to just be ready to try something new and not be worried about what's going to be a failure if it is.
One thing I'll take forward to next year is the overwhelming response from my students that text is about the last way they want to get feedback.
Okay, the one thing I want to take into next year is just having a lens of wellness whenever I'm introducing anything new to teachers and making sure that it's not too much.
Mine is more as a community of educators. I hope we all see the common ground we have and teach less by ourselves and teach together. We're all in the same thing more now than ever.
I think the one thing I want to take forward to next year is to remember to be bold, because our teachers have shown that they can rise to the challenge, provided they get the support and the direction that they need.
I think one thing that I really value from this time is just the focus on connection. And so really, as a tech coach, connecting with my teachers one-on-one, but also keeping our community connected and seeing how that's the number one priority at the end of the day.
Something I want to take forward to next year is really just something I believe anyway, but trust the kids. Trust them to make good decisions on autonomy and scheduling. They got this. They are showing us more and more that they actually know more than we would ever believe that they know. So trust them.
I think the one thing I want to take forward into next year is riding that just the excitement and we've built so much capacity over these last 13 weeks with teachers. They've gained so much skill. They've shown so much professional growth and commitment. And how do we honor that? And how do we take that momentum that we've gained this year and put it to good use moving forward?
Thanks for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode today, you are going to love a new resource that we have created for educators around the world who are working through continuous remote learning. At Eduro, we've been big on building community online for 15 years, from our small cohorts in our Mastermind Ed program to our growing community of thousands of co-tailors who continue to share and comment on one another's blogs. We know communication, compassion, and creativity can be fostered online. if we are thoughtful, intentional, and fully aware that online learning that is learner-focused addresses our real need to connect in meaningful ways. We know that many schools have questions about prioritizing the people inside our virtual campuses. That's why we've launched a new space with all of the resources we've developed to help you do that. Build and boost community so that you can learn together even though we are physically apart. If you are looking for a free online course to take with peers or a bundle of digital downloads to use at your own pace, we have a menu of options to work with your needs. Learn how to support your learners in their needs to navigate a complex media ecosystem. Get the PD you need to ensure students are effective communicators across a range of platforms. Understand the ways to authentically connect your classroom with others. Our menu has all of those options and more.